G'day, welcome back to the channel. Look, green screen, woo! Haven't been here for a while, but the weather's warming up. Look, I'm in my t-shirt, woo, love it. Now, a couple of things I wanted to raise. This is just a off the top of my head video, and I will be doing a live stream sometime in the next week or two, maybe, to try and get some feedback from you people. But several things going on. First of all, in the USA, BotGrinderFPV, now BotGrinder, you know Bot, love him or hate him, he is kind of fringe. And a lot of people find it odd that a grey-haired, nearly 70-year-old man like me gets on so well with BotGrinder. But yeah, I consider him a good friend, and he's trying to set up an FPV park in the USA. FPV park? Yep, that's right. An area where people can go and fly FPV without all the hassles that seem to be increasingly burdening our hobby. So he's looking to raise, I think it's 70 or 80,000 US dollars. I think he's got a fair ways over 15 grand already, and it's only been a week. So I would urge people to, if you can, go and have a look. I'll put a link to his website for the park down here. Go and have a look. And if you feel like it's a good idea, then just toss a bit of coin, any amount of coin, just a few cents even, his way, and make it a reality. Make it a reality, because we know the regulations are increasingly marginalising the hobby. Pretty soon the only place you'll be able to fly is an AMA freer, and that's not very good. If we want to protect ourselves, we've got to invest something in that, and I think BotGrinder's initiative is a good one. It's something that I wanted to set up here in New Zealand quite some time ago, the Tokoroa International Model Park. I actually managed to raise, I think it was $40,000 by pledges for that. So surely reaching BotGrinder's target should be fairly easy, given that most of the people who donated to my attempts to start a model park didn't even live in the country, whereas a lot of you people do live in America. You could benefit from BotGrinder's FPV park. So I'd want to raise awareness of that, and just keep an eye on it, see how it goes. Hopefully he'll reach his target. Now, speaking of that though, I am going to revitalise my initiative to create a model park here in New Zealand. Now, I'm not going to do it through public pledges, at least not yet, because I think I will go to the local council. Stop laughing with me or at me. The local council, yes, there are some new councillors in our local council, so I'm hopeful, maybe not optimistic, but I'm hopeful that those new councillors will breathe a breath of fresh air into the whole attitude of this council to maximising the potential of the district. And we all know, we already have a lot of you guys coming here on a regular basis, especially before the human malware, and probably now afterwards. I see American Airlines are now flying to New Zealand again, and they've got some pretty cheap fares. So if you want to come and see the airfield or whatever, that's something that you might put on your bucket list. But what may happen is, in fact, this is just crazy. I had an email from they keep changing staff. It's like a revolving door at the council, but they've got new staff on the airfield mismanagement system, and they saw my video from last weekend, and they said, "Oh, you should be paying money to hold events." No, it wasn't an event. It was just a normal weekend's flying. And there's a fee of $350 a year to cover our flying here at the airfield. But they think, oh, no, that's an event. You need to pay more. So, what do? They probably thought it was an event because no other group attracts so many people on a regular basis. This is every weekend here at our airfield, but when you've got the Aero Club or the driving, the car club, they only have this many people when there's a big event. So they thought our regular weekend meetings are like a big event for any other club, so we should be paying an event fee. Oh no. Anyway, so I'm going to have a real heart-to-heart talk with the council and say we need to make sure that either we have a good tenure here at the airfield and we create areas. We've got a big pile of dirt out the back here. We could use it as an off-road, RC buggy track. We've got a lake down the other end we could use for RC boats. This would be the perfect place for a model park. Trust me, it would be fantastic. So I'm going to put a little bit of a plan to them. If they say no, then I will just have to go out and lease some land. I can't buy land. BotGrinder's looking at buying 10 acres for 70 grand or something in the USA. You cannot buy a pocket handkerchief for 70 grand in this country. If you want 10 acres, the cheapest 10 acres you'd find would probably be around about $500,000 in New Zealand. $500,000. Property is ridiculous here. And I can't afford $500,000, but I probably could afford to lease a few acres for 10 years, with a bit of crowdfunding and so forth, and that may be where I go. That may be what we have to do, because you'll see in a video coming up, well, I'm also talking to regulators. Well, I'm talking at them because I don't know if they're going to talk back, but I think we need to have an initiative here. Now, the analogue, the comparison I'm going to draw is that we can go out and buy a new car today, We can spend, whatever it costs to buy a new car. That car can do 130, 150 miles an hour. Most modern cars will easily do 120, 130 miles an hour. But we can't drive it on the road at that speed because we have speed limits. So we've got something that can do things we're not allowed to do. It'll also, you can drift them, and they've got, you can do burnouts, all these things in a modern car. You can do these things. They will do it. But you're not allowed to do them on the roads. However, you can go onto a racetrack or hire a track or something, and you can have a track day, and you can do whatever you like with your car. You can drive it as fast as it'll go. You can do burnouts till your tyres fall apart. That's quite legal because you're not on the road. But when you look at drones and model aircraft, we don't have that liberty. The regulations on drones and model aircraft apply everywhere, in your own backyard, in your friend's backyard, in a rented field, at a model club, at a park. The same rules apply everywhere, and that's the problem. We don't have our escape area, the area where we can go and do things we want to do, as long as they're safe. We don't have that. Not like the car, the people who buy fast cars and things. We buy a drone that might be able to go to 5,000 feet. We can't do it. We might buy a model, FPV model that can fly beyond visual line of sight. No, you can't do it. Doesn't matter where you are, how controlled the situation is, you can't do it. It's not allowed. So I think we need to approach the regulators and say, as hobbyists, we want to set up areas where we want to have what amounts to rule-free areas where your aviation rules don't apply. And so we can go maybe up to 5,000 feet. Maybe we can fly up to 5 miles away, but as long as we're still on the land that we've got control of. And it's your job as a regulator to acknowledge the fact that this area has been set up and that manned aircraft shouldn't be there. We have to have an exclusion zone. This is all new stuff. I mean, they have flight restriction areas elsewhere for other things like, presidential visits and large sports matches. Well, they need to have some for our parks. We need to create parks, areas where we can go and do our stuff where the drone rules don't apply anymore. They don't apply because we have control of the area, and we have an exclusion zone where manned aircraft are not allowed to come in because it'd be too dangerous for them possibly, because there could be model aircraft up there or flying beyond visual line of sight. So we draw a big area on the map and say, no manned aircraft. It's not safe to come here. And the regulator has to publish that and propagate that and enforce that. And then we can do the things we want to do without endangering anybody. We can do that. It becomes great. That's our burnout patch. That's our racetrack for our model aircraft. Because we know that when someone buys a drone, they want to see how high it'll go. They want to see how far it'll go. They're going to do this whether it's legal or not. So why not give them a playground where they can do this legally without risking, other people's lives? Because if someone's going to fly as high as they can, they'll probably do it in their own backyard, and they may be reasonably close to an airport, and it could be a danger to manned aircraft. But if they're going to do it in one of our protected areas, manned aircraft shouldn't be there. And if a manned aircraft chooses to fly in there, well, it's their responsibility. And if anything goes wrong, it's their responsibility because they would know that it's not safe. It's like if you sprint across the motorway, across the freeway, and you get hit by a car, whose fault is that? It's yours. You shouldn't be running across a freeway. And so the driver that hits you, he was legally doing his stuff. You're the one that shouldn't be there. And that's what should happen with our model parks, which have the rule exemptions. So manned aircraft, you shouldn't be there. If you hit a drone, it's not the drone flyer's fault, your fault. You were told it wasn't safe to go in there. That's what we've got to do now. This has been very hard to do to date. Regulators are very reluctant to say, oh, no, we can't give an unmanned craft privilege over a manned craft. Oh, that's not the way it's done. Look at my epaulets. I am here for the manned aviation community, so we're going to change that. We are going to change that, trust me. Anyway, this is part of a bigger video coming, which you want to subscribe to if you want to see that. And it's a bit ranty, but it also offers the regulators a way to build a relationship with our hobby and a way to ensure that the rules they promote and promulgate are respected and complied with, because at the moment, that ain't happening. How many of you who fly FPV have always had a spotter at your side when you've flown? How many? Oh, I don't see any hands. The spotter rule is a joke. It is a joke, yet the strange thing is I've been flying FPV for, 12, 13 years. And I know a lot of other people have too, and there's not one reported death, not one reported serious injury, and I haven't found any reports of property damage, despite the fact that apparently flying FPV without a spotter is very, very dangerous. That's so dangerous it cannot be allowed. Yet everyone's been doing it and nothing's happened. So we need to get this across to the regulators. You work with us. Let's make these rules a little fairer, and we'll agree to follow them if you agree to give us the freedoms that we need. Anyway, that's it for another video. I just wanted to have a bit of, I'm out here at the airfield doing some other stuff, and I just wanted to get that off my chest, have a little rant, a little bit of a discussion. There you go. Go and check out BotGrinder's FPV park page, and stay tuned, because there's quite a bit of stuff on regulations coming up on this channel. As I say, we really do need to take things to the regulator, not have them throw stuff at us. We need to throw stuff at them. Let's make our own rules. Let's put them out there to the regulator, give them 30 days to make submissions, which we will consider. And then at the end of that time, we'll see what happens, shall we? Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned. Thanks to my Patreon supporters. You guys are a lifeline, because honestly, before I go, I want to say something else. Have you seen how badly RC hobby videos are doing on YouTube? They're terrible. I mean, I'm not as bad as some, but so many channels are getting virtually no views. You know, hundreds of views when they used to get thousands. And even me, I mean, my last video got, I think, 13,000 views, but some of them are down 6. It's on this channel. It's not good at all. They're just not the views there. And I noticed that even Alphabet, Google's parent company, has taken a 27% crash in earnings because people aren't buying advertising. So when you combine the fact that you're not getting the views and the advertisers are not paying as much as they were, YouTube is not a good way to try and make a living these days, unless you're one of the big channels. But if you're just a hobby channel like ours, and the other thing that really, you can see why we don't make much money, because the review of the Fox Tech Reaper that I put up yesterday on my RC Model Reviews channel, when I went to check it out myself, guess what the ad was I saw? Barbie dolls. Honestly, they figure there's a relationship, Barbie dolls. It can't be the relationship with me. I'm a 70-year-old white male who doesn't really play with Barbie dolls. So obviously the relationship must be between FPV and Barbie dolls. And I've seen this on many FPV videos. They're showing Barbie ads at the beginning. So it's not even targeted. The advertising is not even targeted. Therefore, it's very low value advertising. Therefore, we're not making any money. Patreon is the only thing keeping me afloat. And even then, it's barely keeping me afloat. And I don't go out begging for Patreon money. If people want to support me, they can. They know how to do it. There's sometimes, when I remember, I'll link in the description. But honestly, without Patreon support, I would be doing something else right now. I really wouldn't. And even now, it's pretty marginal at the moment. I've got to say, I'm hoping that in the lead up to Christmas, we'll get a bit more ad spend. I'll be able to put some money in the bank, because after Christmas, I'm going to be earning nothing, because the advertising really dries up then. So that's why I'm hoping to get more content out before Christmas. Anyway, I thank you if you are a Patreon supporter. If you are not a Patreon supporter, then you should be thanking the Patreon supporters as well, because without them, you wouldn't be watching this video or any of my other videos. I'd be flipping burgers down at Burger King. Anyway, that's it. Finally, it's over. You can relax now. I'm going. Bye for now.
Overregulation is like a tumor. It's killing our hobby. It must be terminated. Now!